Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the GDQ Hotfix. My name is Jiggy, and have we got a show for you? The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on ice today. Ice skating. We're here for a crazy show. This is going to be a blast. My name is Jiggy, and I'll be hanging out with you for the next 3 hours for this special event here on GDQ Hotfix. We have a couple of announcements that I want to get through right before we get into it. Just to let you know, we do have a few upcoming events here on the GDQ channel that you should stay tuned for. Back to Black 2025, the upgrade to UBAF will be live from February 6th through the 9th here on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel. It'll be benefiting Race Forward, so you can catch all the action, support an incredible cause. All you have to do is type !BTB in the chat to see about the event schedule. And if you want to find out more about the all black speedrunning community, type !BAF in the Twitch chat right now. If you're crafty or you got some prizes, prize submissions are open until February 1st for that event. So definitely check that out. Again, you can check it out if you do !BTB in the chat. I also want you to take a minute here, and before the run starts, I want you to join the official GDQ Discord. You can add the Hotfix role where you can keep tabs on all of our upcoming events, talk with our staff, and more. So all you have to do is !Discord for that. All right, without further ado, no more announcements, no more anything. I want to see some amazing Zelda. Let's jump right into this. Danny Music, tell me a little bit about this run.
Hello, I am Danny Music. I am very excited to be bringing this to the GDQ Hotfix. We got ice physics on the Hotfix. So this is A Link to the Past, the no major glitches speedrun. However, everything is ice physics. Link's house, ice physics. Kakariko Village, ice physics. Every other dungeon in the game, ice physics. Going up the stairs, ice physics. We'll talk more about that later. It is a massively fun and very chaotic run, and I hope that you will enjoy what I have to offer.
I am so pumped about this run. Again, this is any percent, no major glitches, but everything is ice physics. So it is a two and a half plus hour run. And you have two commentators here with us too. We have Wolfie and Zafakel. How are you two?
Excited to be here. Polar vortex hit some of the world, and now it's hit Hyrule, and that's why we're here. Good luck, Danny.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Danny's gonna crush this.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for this run. So I say let's get into it whenever you're ready, and we can explain it as we go, right, Danny?
Yeah, sounds good. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, my favorite name for Link, GDQ Hot. Confirmed.
Yeah, because it's the GDQ Hotfix. We got to bring a little bit of heat to the party. So yeah. I'll talk a bit about how this run got started. Jiggy actually had a first-hand experience playing A Link to the Past using ice physics everywhere. And after that run, I had done a little bit of the testing for that run, and after it was over, I'm just like, hey, let's try to make a speedrun out of this. And the results are what you can see before you. So movement on the ice, every surface treats it as if it is ice physics. The quickest way to get around is to move at roughly diagonal places. So if you see me like strafing back and forth, it's kind of like speed skating. I'm trying to build up momentum that way. If I hit something like the bush that I just collided with, then that stops all movement and it takes a little bit of time to build up again. There are some surfaces like the shallow water that I just walked into that have slightly less ice physics. They mostly behave normal except when you run on them.
So yeah. Danny, I did in fact play this version of the game. I did in fact play this for a different event that we were part of, and let me tell you from firsthand experience, this is hard. This is not your normal Link to the Past, and the fact that Danny has this sub 3 hours, getting close to, did you hit
not
230
quite at
yet?
230. Wolfie actually, so Wolfie had helped me with a lot of the planning for the routing and did some testing on his own, Wolfie was able to get sub 2 hours 30. My personal best is just above that. My personal best is a little over 2:36.
2:36. So you act okay. All right, Danny. I get it. I understand. I get it. Danny officially, for anybody that does not know, beat my any percent not ice physics record because I have a 2:38.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Had to show me up, Danny.
I most certainly assure you that was not the goal.
Another thing you'll see Danny doing too is this sort of like up and down sword motion, which is kind of like the speed skating, but definitely has a bit more like directional oomph.
So Zap and Wolfie, you also have run this game, right? This exact this version.
I have done a tiny bit of room testing. I have finished one run somewhere in the 3-hour mark, but Wolfie's the supreme has done the run and knows more of the tech probably than me for sure.
Yeah, I have done a few runs of this, got the sub 230. Ooh, that is...
Rough start. That's okay. We'll get the jitters out of the way early.
Yeah, these guards that chase you around, they're not too dangerous in the base game, but when you're on ice and they get on top of you, it's really hard to get them off.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was going for a strat that's actually kind of similar to the no major glitches strategy for that room. The goal is, with the ice physics, you can kind of build up momentum and do a spin attack into enemies, which is really fun. Normally, in A Link to the Past, if you do a spin attack not on the ice, then you're just kind of stationary as you're swinging the sword around. But with ice physics, you can build up momentum to release the charge and then knock back an enemy and then hit them with an additional attack with the spin slash. So I was trying to go for something like that. Didn't quite work. I'll try it again on the repass and hopefully I get to see that in action.
I think that's going to be the coolest part about today's run for everybody that's just joining us here. It's the difference between the normal, no major glitches run that the world record is like an hour and 22 minutes or something like that. But comparing that to having ice physics and the fact that, there is dramatic, right? There's dramatic changes in the routing.
Yeah. The early game is very difficult because not at much health or at much ice. The mid-game, I actually changed the route up significantly. I do the dungeons in a completely different order from the NMG, and I'll explain the reasons for that as we get to that point. And then at the very end is very exciting because Ganon's Tower has a couple of rooms that are extremely difficult, and Ganon himself can always cause problems. So here...
Let's just...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to reiterate what, re-emphasize what you're saying. When I played through this, I thought that there were rooms that were actually impossible, and Danny and the crew here found ways to do them.
Yeah, you'll get to see some of the difficult rooms as they come along. What were you going to say, Zeph?
No, so it's funny because there are rooms in the base game where you're like, this is trivial. You're going to do like X, Y, or Z thing. And then on ice, you're like, oh no. Oh my God. and the amount of like planning and plotting and room strats that, I've seen Danny do on a lot of the runs leading up to this is insane. Like, this is such a cool run to showcase. And of course the route differences too, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
The big things are you kind of go on a bit of an early shopping spree, and so if you've got Google Maps up for your NMG route, you're going to get some recalculating really quickly because it's very vastly different.
Mm-hmm. So has anyone ever done a no-death run of this? There have been runs that I have completed without taking game over, but it would be extremely difficult to do a run without a fairy revival, and I think we can talk about that now. So one of the rooms that we take for granted that's super trivial in the vanilla game, but really difficult under the ice physics, is the first room in Eastern Palace. In that room, there is a set, I guess technically it's the second room, but yeah. There are a lot of cannonballs that release a steady barrage at you. And what you're supposed to do is the room has 2 tiles worth of gap. So ideally you want to strafe in between the 2 tiles gap in order to dodge the cannonballs. However, under ice physics, you don't have enough time to build up momentum to be able to dodge the cannonballs, and you get pushed backwards by each cannonball hit, and you don't have enough momentum to really be able to tank through a set of cannonballs that pummel at you. So as a result of that, after we get out of Hyrule Castle here, we're going to go on a shopping trip in Kakariko in order to get 2 bottles, as well as the bug catching net, or if you're in the Link to the Past randomizer community, you can call it by the French term, which is the filet. That is very essential because it is extremely unlikely. You can get good RNG, but it's extremely unlikely to make it by the Cannonball Room in Eastern Palace without using a fairy at all.
Yeah, that was the room that I think we had talked about, like how we would do some interesting tech for it, but it turns out it is very difficult to do on ice. Involves throwing bombs to like launch you in a different direction than what you're facing, but yeah.
So there I was able to demonstrate the 3 snake ropes that were chasing after me. Just build up a spin attack and immediately release it, use the momentum to carry yourself forward, and you got to hit all 3 of the snake ropes there. It's really fun. So here again, I'm using my sword slashes to extend the momentum. Again, diagonal slashes and changing direction are the things that allow you to build up momentum on the ice, but you also have to deal with the movement itself being a little erratic and out of control on the ice, so it's easy to get hit by stuff too. It's very satisfying to execute for long rooms like such as this, though. Okay, so killing these rats, ideally I would like them to drop a red rupee. The rats will only drop money, and after you defeat a certain number of rats, that would cause the red rupee to drop. Unfortunately, I don't get it there. This might be one last chance. Okay, we did get it. So I'm at 22, which means that I can go to the well. If I did not get 22 rupees, then I would take a different path to get money. But since I have 22, then we can do it in Kakariko itself. So gonna grab the heart from the sanctuary here, and we'll be on our way to Kakariko. So this is the first super major divergence from the no major glitches route. Ordinarily you'd go straight to Eastern Palace, but here I'm going straight to Kakariko instead. Also, not to be neglected, the blue boomerang that you pick up in the escape sequence, not a super big deal in the regular speedrun. You have it equipped for a couple of rooms in Hyrule Castle, and then that's about it. It's actually really handy throughout a lot of the early game and even some of the mid to late game of the ice physics run, just because you can use the blue boomerang to stun enemies. While enemies are stunned, they are not treated as solid objects, so you can they won't interrupt your movement under ice physics. So yeah, because I have 22 rupees, I'm coming in here. This is just to get rupees, so we'll get 2 blue rupees from the pots there.
kind of stock up. It's winter in Hyrule. Like, come here,
Yeah.
get some bottled water, canned tuna. I mean, you're a penguin after all. So, like, things that are important.
Yeah. The well has 80 rupees as well as 3 bombs and a piece of heart in the back, which I didn't get. But that brings us to 100, and that's enough money to spend it immediately on Bottle Merchant, who has a bottle with nothing inside it for the low price of 100 rupees. The main use of bottles in this run is to contain fairies. And now we're going to be getting the other very important item for the ice physics run that doesn't get seen at all in the NMG speedrun. The bug catching net.
Except for my run. It gets seen in my run. Can you tell a little bit more? Can you talk a little bit more about, like, we saw it a little bit when you were coming from Sanctuary to Kakariko, but the sword slashing and that momentum storage, like, on the ice physics. Can you talk a little bit about that movement?
Sure. So while you are moving diagonally and changing direction, if you use an item, it preserves your momentum. So I use sword slashes to build up a lot of momentum and have it sustained through the course of some of those longer screens. So like this one, for example, can move there quicker than I could walk normally by using sword slashes there. So here I'm going to equip Boomerang just because it's helpful to get around the guards. Yeah, so there I got hit by a tree, which caused me to lose a lot of momentum. This screen is kind of rough sometimes. That wasn't the worst time through it. Yeah, we can kind of snake around the enemies. If you've ever seen speed skating at the Olympics or some other event, the movement in this ice physics version is very reminiscent of speed skating.
Admittedly, the only skating I do is skating on thin ice. So that is why I was qualified to come to this run. I am sadly not a professional speed skater.
Me neither,
I'm
actually.
very interested. I have no idea where you're going. I've never seen this cave ever.
Ah.
Oh, it's a fairy fountain.
Yeah, so this was one of the innovations that Wolfie, as well as my other A Link to the Past randomizer friend Dapper, came up with. We knew that we wanted fairies for Eastern Palace because of Cannonball Room. A lot of this extra changes to the route is just because of Cannonball Room. So we were debating what is the fastest way to get fairies. I had tried a couple of other things at first. I tried a route where you get the powder as early as possible, and then convert an anti-fairy in the dam to a regular fairy, and that's how you can get fairies in the bottle. But we realized that that cave there is actually the fastest way to get fairies, given that you're going to Eastern Palace.
Yeah, definitely not a cave we're going to see very much of in any speedrun, but we found a use for it.
Mm-hmm. Another early edition of the run, this Armos is really annoying. Another edition of the run that we had tested out was to go to Ice Rod Cave. You can get the Ice Rod, and next to Ice Rod Cave, there's another cave that offers fairies. The Ice Rod is useful against the boss of Desert Palace, but unfortunately it's a bit out of the way, so ultimately we landed on this route here. So Eastern Palace, it is possible to do this without fairies, but it would require getting very, very lucky, so I'm not counting on it. Has happened to me twice, though. And the main reason we need the fairy is not actually because of the health, but just because after you get the fairy, it gives you a lot of invulnerability frames that you can use to make the rest of the way up the cannonball path. So you could try it with something like a red potion, but in addition to it being harder to get the required rupees to purchase a red potion, that would not give you as much invulnerability.
Yeah, all things considered, that is definitely one of the nicer ways that room can go. Like, it looked like we got hit a lot, but there are ways when you just get the unfortunate 50-50 over and over again, and very unkind.
Yeah. And yeah, to recap again, this is a Link to the Past randomizer. Wait, not randomizer. This is a Link to the Past on ice. Everything is ice physics.
This is any percent, no major glitches, but entirely ice physics. So every temple, everything is ice.
Yep. Even the overworld is ice. The overworld doesn't look like it's ice, but it is. Trust me.
I think your best spot is Zora's Domain, right? Because the splishy splashy water helps a little bit.
The shallow water behaves kind of interestingly with ice physics. It lets you move relatively normally, but the run preserves the behavior from ice physics that like preserves momentum. So as a result, your dash on shallow water is really fast. And you'll get to see some more of that in Swamp Palace as well. But the shallow water is not ice. Also, conveyor belts are not ice. Anything that has some kind of movement effect doesn't follow the exact same patterns as the rest of ice physics does. So it is fortunate because that makes it easier for us to beat Argus, who's the boss of Swamp Palace, and Mothula, who is the boss of Skull Woods. Okay, so I spent my fairy there to get the big key from Eastern Palace. What you're supposed to do in that room is defeat all of the other enemies. That causes the anti-fairies surrounding that pot to be released. In the No Major Glitches speedrun, you're able to use one of the enemies as kind of a buffer to get you in position to lift up the pot while in a state of having enough invulnerability frames. However, that strategy is invulnerable for ice physics, so I just use the second bottle that has a fairy in order to get through that. And now I go down to this pot in order to get 2 fairies and refill it back up.
Danny, chat is talking about music. You want to tell them why the music just sounds so amazing?
Sure. So the soundtrack that you are hearing is actually linked to the Brass, which is an album by my group, the Game Brass. Kind of a enhanced version of the A Link to the Past regular soundtrack played by brass instruments. So you're also going to be hearing me on trombone this entire time.
I can't believe Danny not only is playing the game, but also the trombone right now. You
right
can
now.
See it. Look at the kid right now. You're playing it live.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that room doesn't always behave. If you activate the Igor that is on the bottom or in the middle, then the other one will also activate. And if they catch up to you, it's very difficult to get around them, which is the theme for most enemies under ice physics. Is if an enemy catches you, it is hard for that enemy to let you go. But situations like that are precisely why it's good to keep well stocked with berries. Okay, I wanted to activate these two. I somehow shot the arrow right between them. That's interesting. Come here, come here. All right, got there eventually. Yeah, so this strategy is kind of like one of the strategies that you would use in No Major Glitches. I found that it's very difficult to get all the way to the top of the corner to turn left. In the No Major Glitches route, if you were to start in the corner, then you would shoot a couple arrows out towards the left, a couple arrows towards the top, and then make your way around the curve in the direction opposite where the Armos are traveling in order to be in position to hit the last one without him going into that extra red phase. So under ice physics, you can't quite make it up to that upper right corner in time, but it's still a quick Armos fight, all things considered. Now we're about to get the Pegasus boots, which will let us go very fast, and by very fast, I mean half as quickly as normal, which is still quicker than most of the other types of movement under ice physics.
I was gonna say, at least this like lets you go straight.
Yes, and it does let us go straight, which is a big improvement. Oh, yeah, we're gonna be using the boots a lot, not just for movement, but also to help us turn and get into doorways easily. Doorways are kind of an enemy for this because they are one tile wide and it's very easy to miss the entrance of the doorway and then have your momentum slowed. But boots make it so that you don't have to worry about that as much.
Danny, why did you skip the bombs in that room?
Oh, I won't need bombs for a little while. That's the only reason.
Get them for later. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So this room. Okay. They behaved a little nicely that time. It's easy for those green guards to just kind of gang up on you. So this room, even though I have the boots, I think it's a little bit faster to do sword slashes. Same thing for this screen. Here, I dash with the boots and see if I can slash out of it. Not quite, unfortunately.
You're on one ferry right now. There was an option to get more in a cave that Danny just passed, but there will also be an option to get some in Desert Palace.
Yeah. The Beamos in Desert Palace are the next major obstacle of the early game. And another good use of the Pegasus boots is actually to make use of bonking. While you are bonking, you get sent flying into the air, and that's a way to keep your momentum while also being able to dodge certain enemies, such as the Beamos. But yeah, and to be clear, this is ice physics everywhere, even though Hyrule seems to be covered in this like lovely grass texture, it's actually ice. There's permafrost underneath it.
Green ice, you know?
Yeah, green ice.
For anyone that is just joining us here, this is The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past from the Super Nintendo 1991. Any percent, no major glitches, but the floor is ice. That's it.
Yep, the floor is not made of lava, it's made of ice.
Yep, it's made of ice. The floor is ice.
I still think it'd be fun to do Minish Cap, the floor is made of lava, because Minish Cap has this animation where Link gets set on fire and goes like running around out of control.
It's Mario, it's Mario 64-bit. I don't know why Capcom thought it was a good idea. It's like Link has to put out the fire on his butt. Really dumb.
Yeah, it's brutal. All right, so here's an example of using the boots bonking in order to dodge the Beamos's eye there. And I'll see if I can snipe the antlion. My momentum's going the wrong way. I'm not going to see if I can snipe the antlion. All right, this room, the Beamos is very uncooperative. Okay.
He's just so good.
That snipe as you leave is like the most rude thing possible.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't quite, because the dash for the boost is now slower, you don't quite have enough momentum to be able to get around him by going right next to him like that. Whereas without ice physics, you could certainly do that. And this Popo has decided to hang out in one of the most inconvenient places possible.
No boots needed.
Ooh. Had a fortunate RNG on the way back. All right, not quite out of the woods yet for the hard stuff in Desert Palace. The next challenge is going to be this room with the Beamos before the big key. So here... Oh. There we go. Yeah, so once again, I'm bonking intentionally in order to dodge the eye of the Beamos, and then on the way out, you can just do that again and make your way to the door. That antlion is not very nice today. Okay, so I have one fairy and one heart left. If I can make it to this fairy room without using it, well, that's fine. Now we can just pick up two fairies from the back of desert here. Initially, I had to ask what block it was. It's so rare that you go into this fairy room.
It is nice that they have it there.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, you got.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back in to get them. I need fairies for the back of desert.
At least it's not that far.
Yeah.
You know, you just go right back in.
Yeah, that definitely happens sometimes.
I've talked about how everyone knows I like Zelda. We all know I like Zelda, but I think A Link to the Past. It's funny because it's one of those games that, in my opinion, is just it's fantastic. It's one of the best games of all time. But that being said, from a like first player point of view, this game kind of sucks. Like all the dungeons are designed to get you lost. You are meant to spend hours trying to figure out where to go next. You just keep getting destroyed by the ice physics here. The ice physics are destroying you.
All right, I'll be fine.
Yeah. But basically it's just like once you know where to go, this is one of the like super digestible. You could beat the game like, hi, I can't speedrun, chat. I'm not a speedrunner. I'm slow. I play video games really, really slow. If at all. I barely play video games. But you can beat this game in like 2.5 hours after just practicing a few times. It's very digestible.
Yeah. It's a very compact game. And it was like kind of the open world game of 1991, or at least the equivalent thereof. Once you get to the Dark World, you can do the dungeons in most any order. And the reason for that is because most of the requirements for those dungeons item-wise are pretty distinct from each other. Yeah, that was fortunate. So that room can sometimes deal a lot more damage than I just took. So
yeah,
this
the
room I
Beamos
actually
can bully.
Yeah. This room I actually have to respect these floor tiles because otherwise they will body me. And similarly, this room I'm going to respect the red Igor.
Look, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Let the statement show, let the record show. I do not think that it's bad that this game is hard. I do not like games that just hold your hand and point you in the next direction. But this game, they want you to call the Nintendo hotline. They really do. My least favorite boss in this game.
Yeah, Landmola's is a rough boss. For no major glitches, if you're looking for a top time or looking to beat a personal best, I wager that somewhere between 60 to 70% of runs will die either on Landmola's or Moldorm to follow. In terms of safety, this boss isn't too bad as long as you position yourself away from the diagonals. But in terms of time, it just adds up. You can also use arrows on this boss. You can even use bombs on this boss. Arrows will do a spin attack's worth of damage, but on the ice, they're very difficult to aim, and also I only have one arrow, so that's why I didn't even switch to them. But yeah, overall, not an awful Landmola's fight.
Honestly, a really kind Desert Palace too. Like the Beamos played nicely for a little bit. The fairies were the meanest part of that.
Yeah, the fairies were the rude part. I don't know. If fairies being rude is the worst thing to happen in this run, then it is a good run, I will say.
Yeah.
Some days the fairies run away from you, but today they just want to hug you.
Yeah.
All right, Death Mountain time.
Yep.
The
Death
climb
Mountain.
of Tower of Hera.
Yeah. So because this is the English version, there's another difference to this compared to the No Major Glitches speedrun. The No Major Glitches speedrun usually uses the Japanese version of the game, for which there's a trick called Fake Flippers that lets you take a whirlpool portal from the lower right of the overworld to just at the foot of Death Mountain. However, the English version, they had already figured out that trick exists and patched it out. So instead, I'm going to be taking a route that you don't really see very often, which we call affectionately the Breezeway, between Hyrule Castle, leading to the foot of Death Mountain, where we're going to be taking it going in the upward direction. Also, hello, fairy. Oh, that one wants to fly into me, too.
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting tricks between the version of the game that we use for speedrunning as well as a randomizer in this one, because there are some other really cool tech that you can use for movement or even stopping momentum that we don't have access to. So that's a lot of the work that Danny and Wolfie did with trying to figure out, like, how do we do certain rooms. It's very, very different from what people tend to use or tend to play on.
Right. Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, getting yourself wedged into the doorway, that can be a tricky thing, and boots really help there because boots actually are able to stop your momentum. So
Does
speaking of...
old man let you run?
He does now.
Let's go!
The one thing that is pretty much definitively faster in ice version versus the regular version, the old man lets you run.
Old man used to slow me down so much. Now he lets you run.
This is the place of nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah,
So
these guys suck. You can get caught.
These rocks are the reason why I restocked on fairies after Desert Palace.
You gonna let the old man give you a smooch? No, no old man smooch.
That's what
Danny,
I got. That's what I got the
risky.
fairies for. That's what I got the fairies
True,
for.
true. I get it.
And it's fine. It's usually the case that I end up using one, either in
That
Hera
old
or
man
going
has-
to Hera.
That old man has saved my life so many times.
Yeah. So there I dashed in order to get the momentum going up the ladder, but once I was on the ladder, I released the dash because it's faster to move without dashing there. And now the rarely
Is
seen
it-
bunny on ice. You can see like the animation get very wonky
It
there.
just breaks. Yeah. Are you getting any heart containers, Danny, or no?
No extras via heart pieces, just the ones from the bosses.
You got the old man's mirror, which is one of my favorite items in the game because it lets you teleport back to the beginning of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Used very, very, very a lot. It used very a lot in most dungeons, but specifically Dark Palace, I think it's used the most.
Yes.
All right, and here I have to actually respect the floor tiles as well. In the vanilla game and in the randomizer, you can do a trick where you set a bomb up to explode and then position yourself over the blue pegs as they raise up. This will give you infinite invulnerability as long as you stay there, which you can use to not have to worry about these floor tiles at all. But it's not really viable to do that on the ice, so doing it this way instead.
That's like one of my least favorite rooms in this entire game.
Turns out
Just
no
'cause
one
it's
really
so
likes
slow.
that room. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so slow. They hold you hostage.
Yeah, Moldorms.
Is there any other hostage floor tile room? I don't think there is.
There are one other one that you'll probably see, not in this run specifically, but in randomizer in GT, and then there's a third tile room in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, the rarely seen Turtle Rock tile room, which leads just to full magic and a fairy. One singular fairy, by the way.
Wow. Not worth.
Not at all. That's right at the beginning of the dungeon, too, when you need it the least.
Bounce enemies send you back farther, right?
They ricochet you quite a lot, yeah. All right, so here I'm trying to beat the beetle. Cool. Made it through. Oh. Oh, gosh. All right. I'm surprised that didn't count for spin attack damage, but that'll work. I will grab that heart. And yeah, just gonna get that one out of there. Sometimes I'm able to dash in order to stop that beetle, but didn't try for it that time.
it really makes you like take a minute and kind of like appreciate how fast you can really go through the base game with no ice physics, you know? Like that room before, you could just, you know, go through it. Are you gonna do a bomb jump?
I am. All right, look at the tile. That should work. Okay, wait for the fairy to go around. Or by fairy, I mean spark. Moon Pearl.
Claps in the chat for that one. Ice physics bomb jump.
Yeah.
Is it easier or harder to set it up?
That one, I think, is actually a little bit, well, I would say harder because there is a setup with a spin attack that you can do outside of ice physics, and it takes a little bit of difficulty to get comfortable with the spin attack setup, but once you're comfortable with it, then it's really easy to do. There, I'm just dodging these beetles. But the nice thing is, if you're not accustomed to the spin attack setup, the slower momentum on the ice will help make that bomb jump in particular a lot easier. There's going to be another bomb jump later that is much more difficult. But speaking of things that are much more difficult, we have this Moldorm fight. You thought Moldorm was bad in the regular game. Well, he's really bad here. It is unfortunately not a very big exaggeration to say that I could lose 10 to 15 minutes of the run just on this fight alone, but I will try my best. The safest strategy, in addition to kind of like staying towards the middle, which I am not doing a good job of doing right now, is to do horizontal dashes like that. Sometimes you'll get the tail, and if not, you won't have enough momentum to get knocked down into the pit, usually. Oh my gosh, a second try Moldorm is fantastic. I will 100% take that.
Nicely done.
Nicely done.
Woo!
It goes so much worse than that.
Oh, that can go so much worse than that. That is way better than my PB.
On that last hit, I thought you were going over the side. I'm not gonna lie.
I did too. All right. That was a very, very major worry point of the run that we've now cleared. So cool. Nerves are not entirely over, but that has helped a lot. And thank you for the GGs. I appreciate seeing all the positive messages in chat. All right, so this room is really fun to do on ice physics because remember I always said you can build momentum by moving diagonally? You can just do that. And it's just a little bit faster than using the boots. That buzz blob wants to be in my way, so I'll have to boomerang it a little bit. And yeah, the enemies and the bosses do not play by the same rules as we do. It's just us that have to deal with ice physics. They're wearing very adept snowshoes, I guess.
I was muted for the last like 20 minutes. I think I popped off like 3 times during that. That was absolutely crazy.
I'm really happy about that. If everything...
It wasn't 20 minutes. I muted to clip your ice bomb jump, and then I went like I screamed when you fought Moldorm. Did you not? You didn't hear that, did you?
Oh, I did not hear the scream.
No, I screamed because second try Moldorm on ice is bonkers.
Yep.
Like that's crazy. That's what I get for muting to do clips mid-show.
Yeah. There are still a lot of other scary parts in this run, but that is a very major scary part that is now out of the way, and I'm happy with how it went.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Moldorm is tough, and now I think it's totally possible now that you'll be able to get to Dark World like sub 1 hour. Easy,
Oh, yeah.
I think. Yeah.
At this point, it's looking like around 53 to 55 minutes for Dark World, which is not bad at all. Hello.
No, it depends on if Aga gives you trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I just start gasping whenever I say it.
Speaking of giving me trouble, I have now seen a guard pop out of a bush as well as a mine pop out of a bush. So the game is trying its best to give me trouble right now.
Yeah, the game was like, you're not supposed to be here yet. Hold up. Excuse me.
Slow
We have
down a little bit.
Yeah, slow down a little bit. There's content to be had. Actually, Link to the Past is now sentient, and that's a separate issue that we have.
I don't want you to put your AI in my Link to the Past. Don't do it.
Don't do it, please. All right, so I'm going to show you something fun, which Wolfie discovered like as one of the very first things when we were starting to develop a route for this game. So we just got the Master Sword that we can use to break the barrier, right? However, instead of breaking the barrier, we can just do this. The momentum from ice with physics just lets you slip by the barrier, right like that.
Yeah, because of that glitch, you technically don't need to get the pendants from Lanmolas or Moldorm or get the Master Sword. But we decided to just call it a major glitch so that we'd have the content of seeing the Moldorm fight.
The content. Speaking of the content, I did not... Wow, that was content.
Yeah, you got there. You got there.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Gosh.
Spin. It's okay, Danny. You were just doing spin. You were just doing sword spin skip. It's fine. You know.
Yeah, my spin didn't release, and I did not react the appropriate way. So there's a trick that you can do with spinning that allows those guards to be shot in the same spin slash. I messed up the setup. I messed up the release, I guess, but that's okay. Don't have any fairies for the rest of the tower now, but I'll just make sure that I'm careful. So if you do the glitch of just walking by, in order to not softlock your game, you would still need the mirror and the moon pearl. So you'd have to go to Tower of Hera to get the moon pearl. That would necessitate you getting the gloves from Desert Palace. But you could, in theory, skip the Master Sword, skip fighting Lanmolas, and skip fighting Moldorm in order to have all the equipment that you need. You would also then have to do Palace of Darkness with just the Fighter Sword and not the Master Sword, which makes the boss a lot more difficult. And you would also have to do that with Thieves Town as well, but it's not as troublesome for Thieves Town due to how that boss works.
The two dwarves will turn your level 1 sword into a level 3 sword if you give it to them. They don't care.
Yeah, they can make the sword super tempered. Yeah, and you would also have 2 fewer hearts because you wouldn't get the heart containers from beating Lanmolas or Moldorm. So that's another thing to contend with. Alright, so this room, fun fact, you only have to defeat the red guards. You don't have to actually defeat the bats, but they're in your way, then they're in your way. Alright. And this room has some fun spin strategies that I might be able to pull off. Yeah.
Nicely done.
Oh gosh. That was in the way. Yeah, this room, sometimes that other red guard gets in your way. Ideally, you want him to not get in your way, so you can just slash the one that's in the middle. That's the only one that you have to beat to get the small key. I kind of wanted that fairy, but I was afraid of those enemies.
Me too. I'm still afraid of them. They're like they're downstairs and everything right now.
All right. All right, so apart from that first room, that was a pretty solid Aghanim Sour climb. Hilariously, you can also go to Aghanim's Tower with Zelda at the very beginning of the game. And if you make it all the way to here, then Zelda could be following behind you, watching this scene where Zelda gets transported to the Dark World. All right, so Aghanim. Oh my gosh, I screwed up the easy one. The way that this works is that it operates in cycles of 5. The first in each cycle is always a ball that can be reflected. The second through fourth hit of each cycle will either be the one that can be reflected or has a 50% chance of being a blue ball that you cannot reflect. And then the fifth one of each cycle is always lightning. And then it repeats. So for the most part, my strategy is similar to how you would play it normally. I'm trying to be horizontal with Aghanim and then release a spin attack such that it's able to reflect the ball at him. If it's blue like that, then you don't get hit by the sparks that reflect away from the blue beam.
RNG be getting you right now with that lightning.
Yeah, punishing me a little bit from messing up the first hit, but that's okay.
Seeing this room with the baby blue tiles is just nightmare fuel, honestly. Like knowing that you're on ice and just thinking about this from like every randomizer, it's anyone's perspective. They play this game. It's like, nope, no, thank you, no.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had like 2 or 3 extra cycles because I missed that first hit there, but that's all right. Still a very...
All right, let's go.
Still a very solid light world.
I am so ready for my least favorite boss in the game, the Helmasaur King.
Helmasaur is another very scary boss. I'll actually be using bombs in addition to hammer to break the mask. Because with bombs, at least you get to keep your distance a bit from Helmasaur.
Whoa. Danny, are you putting a Link Between Worlds methods into Link to the Past using bombs on Helmasaur? What?
Yeah, right?
That's weird. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, some of the extra strategies that had to be manipulated to make the run viable.
For anybody that doesn't know, in a Link Between Worlds, you use 3 bombs at the beginning of the Helmasaur King, or in that game, the Shadow Beast, in order to break the armor very, very quickly.
I like how in this game, some people on their first playthrough figure out that bombs break Helma's mask, and some people figure out that it's hammer and never figure out the other one. I was a bombs kid.
Oh, wow.
How many bombs?
It's 5.
5 bombs, yeah.
Is that feels like it's better than 16 hammer hits.
17, actually.
Or 17, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, a bomb is worth 4 hammer hits. So a strategy that you see sometimes in the randomizer is actually mixing up bombs and arrows to load up a few bombs, release 2 of them because you can have 2 bombs on screen at the same time, and then switch to hammer. So then you have both the bombs and your hammer chipping away at Helmasaur's health.
Is it just hard to like? It's just slower to like time it, or how does it work? Why do people use 17 hammer?
Using 17 hammer hits is faster than using all 5 bombs, and menuing can also be slow. Plus, the bombs can be a bit finicky. If Helmasaur moves out of the way, then that wastes a bomb, and resources are kind of tight in this speedrun. You notice I'm at 4 bombs and 1 arrow right now. Sometimes there are helpful drops, like there was a 10 arrow drop that I didn't pick up earlier. But you can't always rely on having extra resources on hand without going out of your way to get them. Those 2 pots there, for example, have bombs. But then I'd have to pick them up.
For anyone that is joining us here, nope, this is not randomizer. This is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo from 1991. Any percent, no major glitches, but every tile in the game is ice physics. The floor is ice.
The floor is made of ice, indeed. Yeah. So the route.
Okay, wait, Danny, do you go over there? Why do you go over there?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked. The route for Palace of Darkness is actually a bit different in this version because I want to avoid the back of Palace of Darkness. The turtle enemies are very difficult to avoid before you have the means to deal with them, which is the hammer. And I also
skip hammer?
Well, I'm getting the hammer, but I want to avoid getting the small key that's in the dark basement past the compass chest. So instead, I'm getting a small key on what we call the bow-locked side. And that also puts me in the path for a fairy room, and I'll be able to restock on fairies before the Helmasaur fight.
Yeah, I don't go down here.
Yeah. This is a different version. Oh well, this is a different route that I came up with through some experimentation.
This is the room with the conveyor belts, right?
This is getting there. I have to beat all these enemies first. So I'm gonna fire an arrow to the right, and hopefully this one will drop some arrows. He did. I'll get him. This room is kind of weird because the mimics move at a different speed than you do due to ice physics. Oh my gosh. There we go. And I'll grab these arrows as well. But yeah, in the regular speedrun, you would not go to this room at all. But here I do. Partially because I want to dodge the turtles, and partially because I want access to this room.
Yeah, Danny also won't be doing the hammer jump that you might normally see in a speedrun because it's pretty unclear if it's even possible on ice. It might be, but I don't think anyone's got it yet.
Yeah, I tried towards the beginning to get it to work, but it's very difficult. Unfortunately, that Barry has decided to show off the electricity both times there. The reason why I'm dashing behind those turtles is so that they don't get in my way. If the Barry cooperates, then I can just dash to the right through the Barry, but the Barry has now not cooperated twice. We'll see if the Barry does it for the 3rd time. Okay, so this room, I want to be on the right side. because this enemy spawns here, and I can fire an arrow straight ahead. It was very nice and dropped an 8 bomb pack. So now I can head right to the hammer and a small key in a chest from here, and I don't have to go to the basement to the other side at all. Yeah, this room here is a bit awkward to do on the ice. If I don't dash, then it's easy for the momentum to carry you a path that you don't want to go down, so that's why I'm dashing quite a lot. But yeah, so here's the hammer, and now we can mirror out. And I'm definitely well stocked on bombs, so I don't need to grab any bombs that are there. I'll also get 2 bombs on my way to the back. Barry, you tricked me. I thought you were gonna let me cook. Thought you were gonna let me cook that time. Unfortunate.
I think the game has just decided to choose violence. We got the Moldorm, everyone's just spiteful because of that, so.
The game was jealous of the Moldorm fight. Okay, so here I'm gonna grab these hearts. We have a lot of safety leading up to this Helmasaur fight, but it can still be quite difficult. I have to watch my health very carefully. If Helmasaur has 2 main attacks, in addition to just kind of like moving around. There is a fireball attack that will release 3 fireball shots that explode and have projectiles that go off in 4 diagonal directions. So we don't want to see him do that if possible. In addition, there is a tail swipe attack that is much easier to deal with. Ooh, I can talk a little bit about key dashes as well. So because the running speed is a little bit slower on the ice, every 2 frames, Link's movement will move basically at a speed of 2 as opposed to a speed of 4. This makes it easier to be able to dash through doors. So most of the time, I just go for the key dash, and it's a 50-50 chance if I get it without any setup at all. All right, Helmasaur time.
All right, I'm ready.
There's the fire that we don't want to see.
I like that he's kind of green in this, you know, that ice palette.
Yeah. Okay, phase 1. I didn't release a spin in time. Okay, that's fine. Still got
Close.
Yeah. Still got 1 more fairy in addition to this one. Okay, so that's 1. Basically 2, 3.
2 more hits.
4. Got him.
There you go. Nice.
GG. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Good stuff. 1 out of 7.
Yeah, Helma's
8,
working kind of
actually.
cold. Hope I have him feel better now.
So now, Danny, since this is the first dungeon that you beat here, why don't you explain, just for people that are just joining us in here, the different route that you're planning to take here? Because you're not running to Thieves right now, are you?
Yes, but I'm gonna actually do a few errands before Thieves. So I'm doing the Dark World dungeons in a slightly different order than No Major Glitches does. And the big reason for that is I would like to have the red cane before Skull Woods. There is the room before the big key chest has you pull a statue, and pulling the statues with ice physics is incredibly difficult. If you build up too much momentum using ice physics, you lose grip of the statue and have to go down and pick it up again. In the process of going down to pick it up, you'll probably end up pushing the statue, and it's very difficult to deal with. But in addition to that, that room in Skull Woods has wall masters always dropping down from the ceiling to grab you. If you kill a wall master, then one will come back anyway. So if you go too quickly, then in that room, then you lose grip of the statue and you're not able to pull it there. But if you go too slowly, you get grabbed by a wall master. So this room is unpleasant enough to deal with that I want to grab the red cane instead, because with the red cane, then you can just position the red cane on the switch and not need the statue to hold it down. But because of all this, it resulted in me rerouting the entire layout of the Dark World dungeon. So I am going to be going to Thieves Town first. I am going to be getting the Tempered Sword after Thieves Town. But after that, I'm going to pick up the rupees and head over to get the flippers, get the Quake Medallion, and then go to Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace gives you the Hookshot, and Hookshot is another item that's super handy under ice physics. While the hookshot is being cast, Link is invulnerable, and you can use that to get around enemy projectiles, sometimes enemies themselves. So very handy to have when you're not fully in control of your momentum.
Bacon hype.
Yeah, and hookshot will also lead to getting the red cane in Misery Mire. But yeah, this is very different from the No Major Glitches speedrun. In No Major Glitches, you do Skull Woods right after getting Tempered Sword and Thieves Town. And then you actually do Ice Palace before Swamp Palace. But here it's going to be the other order. I want the red cane for Ice Palace as well, because there is an Ice Palace bomb jump. I am going to try my best to get to show it off, but the positioning for the Ice Palace bomb jump is different from the regular game. You have to position Link after you move the bomb slightly lower than you would without ice physics. And I'm inconsistent at doing that, so it's nice to have the red cane as a good backup. But yeah, so here I got the flute. I'm going to be activating the flute as normal, but I'm going to do a few errands before making my way to Thieves Town. These are errands that you would have to do at some point throughout the regular game anyway, but I'm choosing now as the time. So the first thing, you might have noticed that I picked up the mushroom when I was walking back from getting the Master Sword. I'm going to give that mushroom to the witch here, and I'll flute away and let her cook with it a little bit. Now I'm going to go back up the mountain, The only thing I want up the mountain is the Ether Medallion. You'd have to come back here anyway, but I'm choosing to do it now while I'm at mostly full health, because these rocks cause mostly less than full health.
They hurt.
Yeah.
Just a reminder for everybody, rocks hurt, they're scary, and yeah, they hurt and they're scary.
Yep, these rocks are brutal. Don't want to deal with them. But it's good to do that now rather than before I would want to go into Mire. And there's a reason for that that will become evident very quickly. So now I'm going to pull the Ether Medallion from our tablet. Now, the next stop on our shopping list is over here to Ice Rod Cave. Gonna pick up the Ice Rod. That isn't going to be required until Turtle Rock right at the very end of the game, which is a kind of curious decision for the vanilla game. You can pick this item up as soon as you're done with the escape sequence, but you don't actually need it until the very end.
I like it for the worms, you know?
Oh, yeah.
The sandworms. If you're good, if I get lucky, they help me.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful for the Landmolas, too.
It's two hits for them for ice.
All right, and the reason why I did all this now instead of later is because I'm going to pick up the powder now that the witches had time to cook the mushroom, and talking to this witch fills my hearts back up to full. So now I'm able to come into Thieves Sound with the 2 fairies and full heart containers regardless.
Shopping trip over. We're now back on track. Hyrule Maps does no longer tell you to recalculate the route.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been doing that this entire time.
Oh, yeah.
The other benefit to having the mushroom and having the powder at this juncture, the usefulness of powder, it turns anti-fairies into fairies. Obviously, very helpful for natural reasons. So I want to have that early, but I also want to have that before getting the Tempered Sword specifically, because that is near where you get the half magic upgrade, effectively doubling your magic capacity, and that's a safety that you wouldn't normally get in No Major Glitches, but which I find very helpful to have for this run. All right, so back on track. Now we're in Thieves Sound.
Danny's about to go bully a phony.
A phony!
A big phony.
I don't know. How do you feel about Bright Light Jiggy?
I don't like phonies. We all know that.
Oh, speaking of phonies, I dashed up the stairs as a bunny, and that activates light exploration glitch, so that's why the sprite disappeared there. I got better. Whoa! That was wild momentum. I've never seen that before. I got turned into a bunny mid-dash, and it didn't cancel my momentum. Alright, so here I have to be careful not to dash up the stairs. The interaction between ice physics and stairs is tenuous at best. Can result in some unanticipated things happening.
The operative word is jank. There's no other way about it, Danny.
That's fair.
Yeah, good life advice. Don't run up icy stairs. It's dangerous.
Yep. Ah, didn't get the key dash there.
Now you did not go get the King's Cape, so you're going into this one just with a plan, right, Danny?
Yeah, the plan is to hopefully not die and to have 2 fairies. The blind fight has a script to it that you might be familiar if you do the no major glitches. If you hit blind at the earliest opportunity, then you will be able to move in such a way that the fireball patterns are known and therefore you won't take damage. However, under ice physics, it's extremely difficult to be able to do that. So for that reason, while cape would be helpful, I'm relying on being able to dodge.
I like the cape. It keeps me safe and warm.
Yeah, I am going to be picking up the cape pretty soon, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just after you fight the phony.
Yeah. Actually, pretty much just after I fight blind.
For anyone that is just joining us here, welcome. This is The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Any percent, no major glitches, plus ice physics with Danny Music.
Hello.
The entire game has ice physics. That's why we're in Thieves Town right now, Thieves Dungeon. And we're seeing Danny slip around.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Also, Link's a penguin in this game.
Might not look like the Link you remember, might not look like the Thieves Town you remember, but this is definitely those things, I promise.
Hyrule has frozen over. It's a strange day. Everyone gets free ice cream. Welcome to ALCTV on Ice.
Oh my gosh, free ice cream.
Free ice cream? Wait, hold on.
All right,
I'll be right
what
back.
flavor ice cream do they offer in Hyrule? That's the real question. I want some like Korok Crunch. It's like maple flavored, but with like chunks of wood in it.
As a randomizer player, right now I feel obligated to say vanilla.
I want to know. I'm very interested, chat. What flavors of ice cream do you think Hyrule has?
I mean, there's Zelda zebra cake for sure. That's a good one.
Ooh, I like that.
Would Rock Roast Road, where it's like Rocky Road, but or Goron. I don't know. I'm interested.
Yeah, I was like Turtle Rock, Turtle Crunch would have been my other guess, but
Yeah.
Misery Mire, Minty, Malady. I don't know. Just keep the alliterations coming.
Some Minty Mire.
Ooh.
All right, so I don't usually have sword beam, so I'm gonna try something.
Oh no, Daddy, don't cook too hard.
Yeah, this might have been a huge mistake already. We'll see. The sword beams can be used to hit blind, so by keeping my distance, I'm trying to maximize the amount of time that I have sword beams and avoid blind for a little bit longer. So I lost it there. I guess I was good for 1 extra hit, which is better than nothing. So I only have 3 more hits to go, and I still have 2 fairies. I still have 1 fairy, so I think I'll be able to get through it okay. Would be nice if I hit the enemy, though.
Nice. Goodbye, phony.
Yeah.
You ruined Link's dreams. All right, more ice cream flavors. I'm ready. I want some ice cream flavors. In fact, do me a favor, and I think anyone that has Prime Gaming, you should absolutely use it and tell me your Legend of Zelda themed ice cream flavor. And I'll use this moment to remind everybody that your Prime gaming subs, your gift subs, your bits, all of those here on the GDQ Twitch channel go to help supporting Games Done Quick Hotfix. So if you like crazy runs like the one we're seeing right now, you should definitely consider subscribing to the channel. You also get access to our emotes and the ability to chat during our rerun runs. So definitely consider subbing, and we appreciate all of you that are subbing and that have subbed during AGDQ. So yeah. All right, Danny's getting money, getting paid.
Yep, gotta get the rupees.
Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming.
Oh, I just realized I had 69 rupees before this. Ah, well. So I'm getting the rupees in a slightly different order than you would get them normally, because I'm not going to Skull Woods right after this. But after I get the rupees here, I'm going to be picking up the Tempered Sword, going to grab half magic, and then I'm going to be on to Swamp Palace, so I'll need the Quake Medallion and the Flippers in order to go there. This is kind of the last major shopping trip for Link. After this, it's going to be a lot of dungeon clears right in a row.
I like Peppermint. That one's pretty good.
Peppermint is so good.
Yeah, Peppermint's really good.
I saw an Octo Rocky Road. I love that.
Octo Rocky Road's very good too.
Deco Dulce de Leche. I see that one in chat.
It's the alliteration. The alliteration gets me. All right, so I'm intentionally setting the mirror portal a little bit far away so I don't wander into it accidentally. Temper my sword.
Oh, Master Sorbet. Let's go.
That's so good.
Dude, I want some Master Sorbet right now.
Rupee Ken, I like that. All right, so got my sword tempered. I have the powder now, so I'm going to have half magic, effectively doubling my magic meter for the rest of the run. It's certainly possible to go through the game without getting that safety, but it really is a big help. This is another staircase that I really want to not dash up. Otherwise, shenanigans can happen. All right. And now we're on to Hyrulean Shopping Part 2. Are there any ice cream flavors that have Quake in the name? There's like Moose Tracks.
I don't know that I would want to put an ice cream into my mouth if Quake was in the name. I feel like that's inviting bad things.
I thought that you were just going to end with the statement.
Just ended there.
I don't think I want to put ice cream in my mouth. And my brain just shut off for a second. I was like, what? Why would you not want to put, where do you want to put the ice cream?
Half quaked.
Ooh, half quaked is really good, actually. Never mind, I take it back. I'd go for a bite of half quaked.
Gru's Tracks is good too. That one's good.
I like that.
I can't actually think of any more ice cream flavors. I'm at a loss. I don't remember, because I guess I just don't get ice cream that often.
It said that it's helpful to have ice cream in cold weather, actually. Even though people usually avoid it. Alright, we got the Tilda. I mean the Quake Medallion. Now on to Zora. So, shallow water and ice physics have a weird interaction. The momentum carries you much like ice physics does. It's really difficult to turn. But it doesn't actually slow you down as much. So, for that reason, my dash on the shallow water is like the regular speed dash. Alright, that was a pretty solid walk to Zora, all things considered.
Yep. For anyone that is just joining us here, welcome to The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past on Ice. This is The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, or the any percent no major glitches, but with ice physics, where every tile in the game is ice. So Danny is running this game with all ice physics.
All ice all the time.
All ice all the time. Danny, what do you think? Do you think break before Swamp Palace or break after? What are you thinking?
I think we can do the break right after Swamp Palace. That'll take us about
Sounds great.
135-ish.
I'm not worried.
Cool. Yeah.
I feel like Swamp Palace might be the most, like, maybe forgiving because of the fact that you're in the water a lot.
Yeah, Swamp Palace is one of the ones that I'm the least worried about. It certainly does have the potential to go off the rails because everything under ice physics does, but there's a lot of shallow water, which cancels out some of the momentum from ice physics. There's going to be a very weird room, and you'll understand why it's weird when the time comes. We sometimes refer to Swamp Palace as the paper cut dungeon because there isn't anything that's overly threatening, but it's easy to just like take little hits from the odd enemy here and there. But in Swamp Palace, we're going to get the hook shot. Hook shot is useful as a mobility tool, also as a damage mitigation tool, and that's very helpful for the rest of the run. And again, most of the reason I'm doing these dungeons out of order is to avoid one particular room in Skull Woods.
It is kind of bonkers that you literally do a dungeon separately just because of the fact that a room later in the game is tough.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Uh-oh. Okay. Remember when I said about dashing through doorways? Dashing and ice physics can sometimes interact in funky ways. Fortunately, we were able to get out of it that time. Didn't quite get there quickly enough. It's possible to get there quickly enough and dodge that anti-fairy completely. It's also possible to turn him into a fairy, but I missed. But that's okay, I still have one remaining. Alright, Swamp Palace. Might not look like Swamp Palace, but it is Swamp Palace. So there I was flush against that wall, so I knew that that key dash would work. Okay, I'm gonna switch to hammer here so I can do this.
But yeah, just like that first room alone was a lot of small things kind of getting chucked at Danny, and it's very easy just to take so much damage so very quickly.
For sure. So I am going to be using the cape in this dungeon as well. Ordinarily, you don't really have much of a use for magic at all in this dungeon. So it's actually nice to have the cape first, because that makes some of the rooms on the left side a little bit more bearable and less likely to deal tons of damage.
Are you worried about the rooms with the shooting rocks, or?
Yeah, there's one room coming up where there are a lot of ice particles that move at you diagonally over shallow water, and there are also medusas, which are like fireheads that fire a constant barrage of beams at you. At one point, I was interested in picking up the fire shield, because you could use the fire shield to deflect hits from medusas, which would be helpful for situations like this here, for example. But ultimately, it was too cumbersome to route in, so we didn't do it. I want that one out of here. Get me up. Okay. Okay. That's all right. That uses the fairy. But it's okay. The other thing about Swamp Palace is, despite it being the paper cut dungeon, there aren't really opportunities to pick up another fairy. So
You gotta play it smart.
yeah, gotta play it a little smart. So I have to be careful now.
I'm interested in why you call it the paper cut dungeon.
Because of situations like that, where I take a lot of like 1 and 2 hit things from just small things that build up. Death by paper cuts. I'm gonna grab this heart here just to be safe. I can grab it. A little high on the block.
Double.
Yeah, take it from the enemy too. Oh, the fire snake got me there. Okay, so you notice that me pushing those blocks, it takes a while to build enough momentum to be able to move it a distance. In this room coming up, in order to enter the main area here, I'm going to have to push this rock out of the way. As I'm doing so, that snake statue is going to be firing at me. So I am, if I can get in position, there we go. Using the cape to not take damage from the fireballs while I push the block. And then I was able to get through that screen safely. I think that's the best use of the cape and the best use of magic for that room. And now I have the big key.
I didn't even think to use the cape there. Now you get the salty run back. All the way back to the middle of the dungeon.
Yeah. Definitely not out of the woods yet. But that's most of the way there.
It's kind of the theme, though, is that all these rooms that you take for granted playing the game normally are just so much more deadly and so different than anything that you'd expect.
Also there, I'm lining up off of that skull pot in order to be exactly aligned with the door frame, so I don't have to struggle to get up.
So I'm curious here too. Danny got to experience this game doing research and development for me for a segment that I was working on, and then just went ham with it. But Zap and Wolfie, when you did your first runs of this game, or what was like your first experience with it? Like,
I'll let Wolfie take this one first. No, Wolfie, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Oh, hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, after I watched Danny run this, I decided to run it too. I have some experience with the vanilla speedrun, which I was able to draw on, but, you know, definitely a lot of the strats from that don't work here. There were some rooms that were big barriers at first, but we were able to develop strats for them, like, you know, for example, the Cane of Samaria room in Misery Mire was a very big obstacle, but I messed with some strats and found something that's fairly reliable for it.
Yeah, and I use that as well.
I say Wolfie is probably a lot of the different, like, between Wolfie and Danny, like a lot of really difficult and fun strats were conceived. I kind of came to this after seeing this and Danny going, "Hey, do you want to come on the couch?" I was like, "Sure, I'll join the couch. Let's see what happens." And then I played this and I was horrified, terrified, enjoying it, but was the complexities of certain rooms and certain things gave me a little like a hair pull moment. But yeah, it was definitely a preparation for this, and then knowing just what Danny was getting into. So, but it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, that room in Misery Mire, I actually thought was impossible. I don't think we thought it was impossible, Danny, the first playthrough. I think you figured you could do it, but after, like, I would say 15-20 minutes of me trying, I was done. I was struggling with that room.
Oh yeah, that room is a struggle.
Yeah, and then I know that you also came up, I think Wolfie or Danny, I don't know which of you did, came up with the strat for Ganon's Tower. For those fire rod puzzles.
Oh yeah, that was me, and that was. I call it the hardest room in the game. We'll see it later. Something to look forward to after this.
It is a thing that I genuinely thought was absolutely impossible with ice physics.
Yeah,
because the game just did not account for it.
Yeah. So Argus fortunately plays mostly normally. I'm being a little extra careful because I only have 3 hearts. But yeah, that is this dungeon down. So got the crystal. Would we like to go to a break now?
Yeah, no, that would be that now would be the best time. We're gonna quickly take a break here, everyone. So don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're gonna see the second half of the A Link to the Past on Ice Run. If you all want to do me a favor, in fact, actually, this would be awesome. If you would like to go to check out our schedule, we have all kinds of different shows that we do here on the Games Done Quick channel. So if you go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix, you can check out our upcoming schedule. Season 4 currently going on, and you can check in depth with all the different speedruns that we do each week here on the Games Done Quick channel. And if you missed any of them, including this run, if you got to run, I understand, but don't worry, this run will be up on YouTube. If you missed any of our VODs from what we do here on Hotfix, or if you missed a run at AGDQ, or you can actually go check it out at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody, to GDQ Hotfix. We still got a whole half of the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past on Ice that we are about to do. But hey, we have some really, really cool events coming up here on the Games Done Quick channel that I think I want to tell you about. And the one that I want to tell you about right now is GDQ's next all-woman and femme speedrunning event, Frost Fatales 2025, will be live from March 9th through the 16th, and it will be benefiting the National Women's Law Center. You can visit gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more information on that event, and use !FF in the chat to check out the schedule. I am super excited about the Fatales event. It's gonna be a blast, and I'm pumped for it. Hey, if you also want to support the GDQ Hotfix, you can check out our season for t-shirt. We have a t-shirt, some Hotfix t-shirt over at theyeti.com/GDQ. It's the season 4 2024 t-shirt. You can check it out there. And without further ado, I want to get right back into this. If you're just joining us here, this is The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, no major glitches, any percent with ice physics. Danny Music, are you ready to get back into it?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, go. There we go. So yeah, all ice physics all the time, except for conveyors and except for shallow water, as we have just seen in Swamp Palace. We are about half of the way through the Dark World now, and I am going to do next Misery Mire, because I had done all the errands beforehand, got the Ether Medallion. So in this screen here, I would really like to not take a hit because I want to come into the second screen of Misery Mire at full health, and you'll see why in just a moment. It looks like I was able to get around it there. But yeah, just to be absolutely clear, every tile that is not shallow water or a conveyor is completely affected by ice physics, even in the overworld or the underworld, but especially in the dungeons such as this. So the second room is a eliminate all enemies room. I want to have it at full health so that I can use sword beam. So I'm gonna quickly use a sword beam here, quickly use a sword beam there and there, get up to these Wizrobes. Unfortunately, I just missed the timing for that upper Wizrobe here, but it's okay. Oh, just missed him again. Yeah, the Beamos is not making things easy. Let's might have to go over on this side, actually. Alright. Yeah, Mire 2 is when you learn the regular speedrun, that's one of the first rooms that takes a bit of practice to go through. So in this pot here, I'm going to grab a fairy. There's a bunny beam underneath that. I know it's there, so I can cast it while the bunny beam is still under the pot and turn it into a fairy, which fortunately was kind enough to be relatively in the vicinity of my bug catching net or fillet. Oh my gosh. Well, yours is not fairy right away, it seems. That's fine. Fortunately, Mire has a lot of anti-fairies, so there are some other backups that I'll get. Ideally, I would like to have 2 fairies by the time I leave here. But the thing that I'm not worried about is the boss, actually, which is kind of nice to have a boss that is not a problem for once.
Yeah, relatively speaking, the difficulty of this in the normal route, it has some peculiarities and like really cool tech just to make it doable hard, but like ways of doing it. But with this, I think actually, you know, with our loadout, it's a lot kinder. And so the rest of the dungeon is what we have to contend with.
Yeah. The normal route doesn't...
And I see...
Oh, go ahead.
I said I see that the stairs have been fixed.
The stairs are behaving right now.
Yeah. My first time, for context, everyone, my first time playing this at we did it at a Zeldathon event, and the stairs I would just clip out of bounds more or less. It would stick me on a high level, I think, or a low level.
Yeah. Stairs and ice physics have very peculiar interactions because most rooms were not designed with ice physics in mind. Something like 2% of rooms were designed with ice physics in mind. And
you have to do this room without the fire rod. Oh no.
Yes. So the reason why I have the cape equipped here is to be able to dodge the Wizrobe's projectiles. I kind of liken it, you know, the Pokemon Stadium minigame that has the Metapod and the Kakunas that use Harden, and you have to hold down hard in order to avoid getting hit by a rock, but don't hold it down too much or you run out of stamina. These screens with the whiz robes are basically that game. You really don't want to get hit by the whiz robe, but you also don't want to run out of magic. But yeah, even without the fire rod, once you have all the blocks pushed into position, you still have plenty of time to be able to make it to the final torch, despite the whiz robe's best efforts to slow me down. The thing that takes the most amount of time is pushing those blocks because it takes a while to build up enough momentum on ice physics to be able to push them.
I was going to say that this is actually on brand because if you live in America right now, we have the Arctic blast going through. It is
it's been so
10
cold.
degrees outside in New York at least.
I had to get groceries recently. It was so cold. All right, so that room, I don't believe there's really a way of dodging that yellow spike, and that fairy always flies away from me anyway, so I just use the cape there. Didn't really want to take 2 hits from the Medusas, but that's all right.
Yes, this is Misery Mire on ice.
Wrong one. Oh gosh, everything's off the rails now. There we go. Okay, don't dash up those stairs, and we're good. So coming up, I call this the second hardest room in the game. I'm going to grab this fairy first. The floor is going to be crumbling, and I have to hookshot and start the walk across the bridge before that happens. First try.
Wow.
Nice. Nailed it.
All right.
Nailed it.
Claps in the chat for that one. That one is incredibly hard.
Yeah, it is extremely precise. Shout out to Wolfie for finding that setup. And I'm totally content to use the cape there. Even if I run out of magic or come near running out of magic, I'm going to pick up a full magic pot on the way to the boss. So here is another pot that has a bunny beam underneath it. Get my second fairy here. And hopefully this anti-fairy will be kind and just let me go on my way in peace. Nope. That works too. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Okay, screwy things happened. I think I might... Interesting.
Yeah, I have definitely soft locked here too. That one door is kind of glitchy on ice.
All right, well, I guess I'm just gonna mirror and that'll solve that.
Gotta be real careful going out of that door not to hold left.
Yeah, I must have held too early there. All right, well, we'll see this room without sword beams now. I won't have enough time to be able to make it to that whiz robe in time. Probably use the ice rod here, actually. Yeah. Like I said, the interaction between ice physics and stairs and doorways is the thing that makes it weird. I think that it's... Yeah, I'm gonna go this way because I know how to get there. There's an alternate way to get to the room with the boss in it now that I have the boss key. But since I already unlocked this path and I know relatively what I'm doing to get there, I'm just gonna go this way instead.
So this is any percent no major glitches, but with ice physics. That is the category.
Take all of
Just
your major
because-
glitches and replace them with ice physics.
Yeah, it's just because you don't go out of bounds at all on this run, right?
Not intentionally, no.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
It may happen, but not by design.
not by choice.
Yeah. Yeah, once again, doing this to
On your
Not
way
dash
to
down the
fight
door.
Dragon Quest.
the stair momentum kicked me up that time. Yeah, so here I have to lift up a pot and then position a Cane of Samaria block on the button that is left behind. My goal is to lift up the pot and then stand here, build up a little bit of momentum to be able to throw it. That wasn't quite enough momentum. Let's see if I can not get hit by a Medusa in order to set this up. That'll work. Nope, that won't work.
Nice. Oh, so close.
That should work.
Nice.
Cool.
Now the hard part, door.
Yeah, now we have to go through the door too.
Oh, I think your block is about to despawn.
Is it?
Oh, it's dead. Okay, cool.
You're good.
Last
You're good.
Last time I died in that situation, my block went away, and I was real sad.
Yeah, that is what the fairies are for. This room, I don't think there's much recourse other than to just use the cape.
Accept your fate. Take a paper cut. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, the switch is correct because you mirrored.
Oh, true. That's right. All right, I don't have to hit it. I realized it too. I did not watch my bomb count before going into here. Fortunately, I had bombs left over from the Helmasaur fight.
Yeah, the mini Helma dropping you that 8-pack in pod is actually just like so nice for the rest of the run.
Yeah, it's nice to not have to worry about it. Until Ice Palace, I'm definitely going to be worrying about it for Ice Palace, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I'm excited about that skip.
I'm nervous about it. That's another one of the problem spots for me. Because like I said, the setup is slightly different from how you would set it up normally. And the new setup isn't particularly consistent. But even if I don't get it, it'll be fine. The backup is just doing the dungeon mostly normally. With the Cane of Samaria already in our inventory, we'll be able to skip 1/3 of the dungeon about, regardless. Alright, so Vitreous, beat the 8 little eyes, then beat the big eye. With the cape, you can just stand in this goop and slash these little eyeballs pretty relentlessly. I'm trying to focus mostly on the ones in the corners because usually the ones that are in the front will walk into the beams regardless. They weren't really doing it that much that time. Second
This
phase.
dude needs some eye drops, man.
Well, we got the drop on him with 8 arrows.
GG.
Yep, and that's Vitreous.
Luckily, the goop is not frozen, so you get a brief break from ice physics there.
That's true. Yeah. In the no major glitches speedrun, that's a lot harder because you don't pick up the cape in that run. So you have to do a setup that has you step into the goop, intentionally take a little bit of damage, and then spin attack in a cluster of those eyeballs. It can be very dangerous because if one hit gets off, or if you don't have enough health going into the Meyer boss fight, things can go south very quickly. But here, because we have the cape, it's nice and easy. All right. I did pick up that second fairy, right? I think I have 2 going into Skullwoods.
Oh, we used one, right? Or no, did you pick?
Oh, no, you're right. I picked it back up then.
You picked it back up, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Skullwoods delayed this dungeon quite a lot because of the very first room in this dungeon that I'm about to show you. Ordinarily, you would go here after Thieves Town. It would be the 3rd dungeon that you complete. but I delayed it because it's very helpful to have the red cane for it. This first room that we're going to be approaching has a switch that you have to pull a statue onto. Under ice physics, pulling the statue is very problematic because it's easy to pull the statue too far and then you'll lose grip of it. But if you don't build up enough momentum, then you just get grabbed by the Wallmaster. So it's really difficult to find that Goldilocks balance, and it's very inconsistent to build up a strategy for it when there are also enemies in the screen. So instead, I'm going to make it nice and simple by stopping momentum a little bit, using a cane block here, and we're on our way. Unfortunately, that's not where the dangers of Skullwoods end, though. Most screens have a never-ending barrage of Wallmasters. And if you get grabbed by a Wallmaster, then you get sent back to the beginning of the dungeon, and you feel sad because it loses you so much time.
The cane really does help with that room, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, so now we have the big key. The other awful thing with getting grabbed by a Wallmaster is the enemies reset. So if you actually take the time to beat the Gibdos and the jellyfish, then they just come right back. This room, however, is one of the few screens that doesn't have Wallmasters, so you can take your time to set up this bomb jump nicely. And go in. Now we have the fire rod. And that's all we needed out of there. Perry, are you going to come here? You are! Wow, thank you. Got a little caught up on that wall. I'm going to switch to the boomerang because I can stun that guy. Weirdly, the boomerang can stun Gibdos, but the hookshot cannot. I'm switching to hookshot now because I want a hookshot to this pot. Grab that, and then be on my way. The back of Skullwoods is still very dangerous. There are Wallmasters on every screen except this one.
Yeah, you really need to be mindful of the Wallmaster cycles in here because
I'm gonna get grabbed right now.
when you're on ice, it's quite hard to build up momentum on a moment's notice to dodge them. So you kind of have to always be moving.
Yeah. So this screen, the quick way is to sneak around the tiles there. Fortunately, I was able to slash the Wallmaster out of the air that time. Oh, that might not be enough time. I'm going to wait it out. I don't think that's enough time. Okay. So I say I'm going to wait it out, but I am going to make sure that I have... I was going to say I want to be aware of dodging the Wallmaster, but that didn't work out. All right, that's fine. Ooh. Okay, you can fall in the hole too. Get me through, get me through. Okay. All right, I'm a little lower on magic, so I'm actually going to use Ether to deal with the Gibdos here. I want to make sure all 4 Gibdos are on the screen while I cast this. And that stuns them all. I'm going to wait for the... heck. Yeah, you gotta be constantly moving. I was not doing a good job of constantly moving that time. I'm very popular with the Wall Master right now. That'll work. Once again, I'm going to use the ether here. Beat him with the pot. Let's go. All right. So I'm going to go for it with the fire rod. That should work. I think this will be enough.
You're fine, yeah.
Yeah. All right. This room is also quite unpleasant. Okay, that worked out all right. Unfortunately, I did get turned into a bunny, so want to get that Gibdo. That Gibdo drops a key. Get around to the door, and we're in. Last scary room. Cool. That works out.
No magic for Mocula. Okay.
That is true. And our health isn't looking so great right now. I believe we have a fairy, hopefully.
Never mind. Who cares? Now that boss, there is no ice physics because it's moving, right?
Yeah. The momentum is still weird. It feels a little bit differently from how it does normally. I don't think I can describe it properly. But it is a nice reprieve from ice physics. And also, one difference with the English version of the game that is not true in the Japanese version is that in the Japanese version, it's possible for a wall master to grab you while you are falling down either the hole that leads to the boss or any of the holes that are in the rooms leading up to the boss. But fortunately, that's not a thing for the English version. If you're down the hole, then the wall master can't all of a sudden pick you up and say, no, you're not. Okay, I think am I still at 2 fairies? I think I'm still at 2 fairies, so I'm just gonna go right to Ice Palace now. I have 5 bombs for the bomb jump. I think I am gonna get the extra one.
Trying to do fairy economics here, and I can't remember if you have 2 or 1.
Yeah, I'll just check. It is 2.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, someone asking in chat if we can use Cape to dodge the Wall Master. We can, but just the magic is definitely something we have to be mindful of, especially in that back half.
All right, this is another cool screen because you use the bonk in order to keep your momentum going. Actually, kind of glad that one didn't. I'm glad that one actually dropped a bomb. The Ice Palace bomb jump is the next thing that is a pain point for this run, so having extra bombs is appreciated. And even though I have the Cane of Samaria, I cannot do the glitch known as Icebreaker in the randomizer community, because that glitch is not allowed is considered a major glitch because you clip through the wall. These Stalfos here, there's a cool way that you can beat them where you activate both Stalfos at the same time and position bombs to set up a very quick kill on them. Unfortunately, you can't move quickly enough in Ice Palace to be able to. You can't move quickly enough under ice physics to be able to set that up, so.
We actually are here, though. We're at the place where ice physics starts. We're at the birth of ice physics.
True. We've come to the source at last. All right, let's have a good Ice Palace bomb jump. Not the first try.
I would think that it would be easier to set up here, but is it the ice physics that actually cause the drama?
The problem is that the positioning is now different. You have to be some
It's
extra
not right
pixels.
below the bomb.
Right, you have
Interesting.
to be some extra pixels down. That was too many extra pixels. Okay.
Nice.
All right,
Yo.
all right, all right.
Claps in the chat for that one.
Thanks. It's a hard one.
Yeah, I was watching your position during that, and I think part of the difficulty is that the ice physics kind of messes up Link's animation. Because normally we would use the sword as a visual cue, but the sword can be offset from where it would usually be when you're on ice.
Oh my gosh, a room with ice physics in it? That's surely a nightmare.
Whoa. Double ice physics?
How can anyone play a game with ice physics?
Nerdy Fiona in chat asking how much does that jump save? So if you've not done this normally, the way that the intended route for this dungeon is you basically go up and down to hit a switch. So like you're saving multiple like floors of traversal. So this completely cuts a lot of retraversal and everything else. So like multiple rooms, like probably multiple minutes on not ice physics, to give that some context.
So here you can see why pulling the statue is difficult. Gotta build up a bit of momentum, but it's very finicky.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Frozen Cloud.
Yep, still got plenty of fairies for this. Didn't get them all clustered in the corner, which is the ideal, but that'll be okay. The little ice blocks that fall from the ceiling are actually very difficult under these circumstances because if you don't have enough momentum built up, then they'll just hit you because you don't have enough time to be able to dodge them. But if you do have a lot of momentum build up, then it's easy to get sent flying into the cold stare puffs, which deal a lot more damage.
There we go.
Yeah, and that's cold stare down.
It's like a big sigh of relief after this dungeon.
Same here. Cold stare is not an easy boss too. I have had runs with ice physics die to cold stare before. But yeah, and just like that, there is only Turtle Rock plus Ganon's Tower left. I'm going to do one additional safety thing before going into Turtle Rock. And one additional shopping thing, I should say. So the safety thing is I'm going to use the mirror here. And we'll swim across this channel. The swimming behaves perfectly normally, by the way. It's not affected by ice physics at all. Though the water is probably very, very cold. Fortunately, Link is a penguin and he can deal with that. Yeah, the man under the bridge gives us a bottle, which is really nice. And I'm going to put that bottle to use right away. We actually do have an empty bottle right now because I used the fairy earlier. But with the second, we'll be able to have 2 fairies plus a green potion. And it's helpful to have that green potion in case some of the rooms in the later dungeons, which require a bit of magic, go awry. So here we're doing another thing that experienced runners don't do in the No Major Glitches speedrun. We're going to be getting the silver arrows to beat Ganon. This is the intended way to beat him, but there is a silverless way. Using the silverless way requires you to dodge a fire bat that Ganon shoots out, and then use a spin attack on Ganon at a particular time. And I never really tried doing that with ice physics, but it's seems like a much taller order than it is to just get the silver arrows. All right, let's see if these enemies are nice to me. Not as nice as they could be, but we got through.
They're just helping you along.
Yeah, they're giving me a push in the right direction. Or at least in something like the right direction. Okay. So we're going to be throwing 3 things into the mysterious pond. Versus the bottle, which this fairy will refill with green potion. I like that it actually says money saved. Quite a bargain. Next, we're going to be throwing our sword in to get the gold sword. This is another damage doubling upgrade. Very handy for the Ganon fight because it halves the number of hits required to beat Ganon for the first 2 phases. And then the last thing that we'll be throwing in are the arrows, which the fairy will make silver arrows. Silver arrows will 1-hit KO most enemies in the game, and they will beat Ganon in 4 hits. Which again is much faster than using the spin attacks. And with that, we're on our way to the final dungeon, Turtle Rock. Hopefully not going to get bodied by these rocks on the way to Turtle Rock.
I believe.
Ooh, dodge the dead rock too.
NMG stands for no major glitches, meaning that Danny will not be clipping out of bounds and wrong warping into the credits.
Yeah. If we did allow for major glitches, there's a super game-breaking glitch called Exploration Glitch that lets you beat this game in like 3 minutes.
1 minute and 28 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Is that, I think that's current record. Let me look.
And it's even easier to do on ice, as it turns out.
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
really?
Yes. That's why Danny is avoiding dashing on a lot of these stairs. That particular movement will basically probably push you into EG very quickly. I think there's even a clip of Danny doing this accidentally coming up in this next dungeon, where he just gets dropped into the Ganon fight. So.
Oh yeah, I was in the exploration glitch state, and I crossed a part where there is a pipe above Link, but because I was in the exploration glitch state, the game thought that that pipe was a hole that Link could fall into, and then I immediately fell right into the Ganon fight. And I'm like, all right, fine, let's do Ganon.
That's funny. Yeah, current world record for the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past with major glitches is 1 minute and 28 seconds, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that what's been really cool about this, Danny, is that, you know, you, Wolfie, and Zap here have been like pioneering a really fun and creative way of running this game. And it's just been fun to watch. You know, I've been able to watch you get PB after PB and learn new things. So like, how's that experience been of like basically building a new route?
Oh my gosh, that has been incredibly fun and satisfying. I absolutely love every part of it. Wolfie and I had been theorizing for a while about like some of the early game routing, some of the later game routing. Do we want to try getting X item here, Y item there? Some of the strategies for the rooms that do become significantly harder under ice physics. It's really rewarding to just like, we know a lot about A Link to the Past because we've played a lot and we've played the randomizer a lot. So it's really rewarding to have those skills and that bank of knowledge that we've accumulated come into play for theorizing ways that we can do different things differently under these circumstances. Yeah, super satisfying and rewarding, and I'm glad to have had the chance to work on it. And I'm really glad to have the chance as well to like show this to everyone, show everyone what we've been up to. And I hope you're getting a lot of appreciation out of it too, whether or not you're a Link to the Past runner.
I mean, I think it's just genuinely cool to see. I mean, you watch A Link to the Past a million times. You know, you watch the any percent, you watch the no major glitches, you watch whatever run you see. But like, this is a very big difference. It's a very big difference when it comes to just like the routing and what you had to do, where you're adapting just by making it so then the floor is frozen. That's it. Only difference is floor is frozen. So
Yeah.
Again, for anybody that is new here and wondering what this is A Link to the Past. This is the game, but with the entire floor all ice physics. And Danny Music has been running this game, and it's been very, very fun to watch. So definitely go and follow him. You can follow his channel, title of the stream, and in the pinned chat message. So definitely give Danny a big old follow if you like A Link to the Past. Because you don't just do this too, you do rando as well, right?
Yeah, I do rando. Doing a little bit of the vanilla speedrun lately. But yeah, this has been a blast to pick up and learn. And I do music too sometimes, believe it or not.
Wait, Danny Music does music? Crazy.
I know, can you imagine?
That's shocking. Wait, so like you're playing the horn right now, right? That's
Yeah.
the music.
Little do
Yeah.
you know, you've actually been listening to me play trombone the entire time. The soundtrack for this is called A Link to the Brass, which is a recreation of the entire A Link to the Past soundtrack as faithfully as possible by my group, the Game Brass. So yeah, if you like the music that you're hearing, then I'm happy to hear that too.
Making your own soundtrack for your run. I think that's just a new level of dedication.
This room is a bit dicey. There we go. Okay, got the big key, and I'm gonna go. Normally you would go backwards through the pipe that I just came through, but I'm actually gonna continue on here in order to get the full magic restore. It's helpful for some of the rooms leading up to the boss.
That's where that goes. I've never gone that way.
Keep holding my breath as you do some of these different rooms, because it's just like, oh no, the Pokey's coming, and like these little things that, you know, you just never have to consider. Just coming
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Was that fire rod into dash? What just happened?
Yep, that was fire rod into /. If you're able to do a fire rod shot, that's one way of one hit defeating those pokey enemies. Their real name is Hoku Boku, by the way. But if you're able to do a spin attack, the first spin will get rid of the head, and the second spin will get rid of the rest of the body. So if you're able to do 2 spin attacks, 2 spin hits in succession, then that's another way of very quickly beating the pokies. All right, so unfortunately, I haven't quite found a good way to do this room other than have sword beams, which I don't right now. So I'm gonna be kind of improvising this one. Yeah, this is one of the rooms that you definitely take for granted. Oh my gosh.
My least favorite room in the game.
Yeah, the momentum messed me up there, so I'm taking a little bit of the scenic route. Oh my gosh, taking even more of the scenic route. We're off the rails. Where do we go back on? I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride. All right, I should have gone down to begin with.
There we go.
Now we're on the right path.
We're back. We're so back.
I missed the switch. There we go.
Yeah, what Denny's actually doing here is he's setting up a pattern for the fire bar so he doesn't get hit.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
The hook shot is a pattern for the fire bar, so I don't get hit. You have invulnerability frames while the hook shot is being cast, but even while the hook shot is being cast, the platform continues moving, so that's one way of getting around that. All right, so here, I want to use the cape. When using the cape to get the chest here, it's very, very easy to get stuck on either the floor or that left wall, and that's exactly what happened there. Okay, so because that happened, I'm going to open up safety door. And I'm going to try doing this with the fairy revival, and failing that, I'll just use the green potion. So I want to intentionally take the death here. And hopefully the invulnerability will get me over to this chest. And that worked. Cool.
Nice.
And now because I did open up safety door and I went out. Yeah, I went out. Then we can come use the mirror to go back in and do that. Obviously, it's preferable if I can get it the first time using the magic cape, but that's okay. The other advantage to having safety door open is if something would go awry during this Trinex fight, which is not easy at all, then I won't have to redo like the entirety of the dungeon to get back here.
Yeah, this fight I would think would be very, very tough.
Yeah. Usually, if it goes well, it goes quite well. If it goes poorly, it goes quite poorly. There's little in between.
Do you still go for 3 hits on each head, like right off the bat, or?
Oh, I don't have any fairies at all.
Do you go back? Go back for fairy?
I considered it, but we'll try this once.
No,
and
we're committing.
If not, then I'll get a fairy. I'll have magic to be able to get those anti-fairies. Oh, that wasn't enough time,
well, no.
Okay.
You're fine. You're good. You're good.
Gonna use the cape here because he's gonna charge me. That should dodge. Cool. That's
nice. There you go. Now the tough part.
So it's really just 3 hits. There it is.
Yeah, nice.
Cool.
Aiming out of control.
Who needs fairies?
Who needs fairies?
Didn't even need cape in phase 2. That was nice.
That was really good. Yeah, the drive-by fire rod shot into just everything you did to that right head. Nicely gamed.
Thank you. And wow, Princess Zelda's in this game.
You saved her.
We did. She got kidnapped again, but she got better.
Now I'm trying to figure out where you're going to get fairies in Ganon's tower. I mean, besides the final refund room, like replenish room. I mean, there's a couple spots.
Yeah, so my current plan is to get fairies. I usually stop at full restore, or the room that has 2 fairies right before the gauntlet. But if I'm low health getting there, then there's an anti-fairy before the Ice Armos fight. Also, by the way, I have to respect these Lionels a little bit. Ordinarily, your dash is fast enough that you can just dash into them and go on your way. But under Ice Physics, the dash is slower. So if I were to try to dash into them horizontally, I just get hit. So that's why I take a little bit more of a wayward path around them and why I use a silver arrow there. Lionels do a lot of damage if they hit you, which is to be expected. Alright, so Ganon's tower. I've experimented a little bit with this too, figuring out what keys I want to actually pick up. I do want this one. I guess I can't hookshot it, that's interesting. But I'm going to intentionally skip the key that's in this room, because if I were to get it, it throws off the cycle. I changed my mind, actually. I'm changing my mind on the fly. Now that I've done that, I can just grab the key and go to the pot here. Yeah.
So here's my question. Red mail question mark?
What do you think, Chad? Should I get red mail? I've skipped it a bunch.
I don't know. I
insufficient. I was planning to pick red mail up for what it's worth.
Yeah, I was gonna say for safety, it's only a couple, like it's only one screen, but
yeah.
Speed.
It's also a good place to refill our fairies too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna pick red mail, that's fine. Okay. So there, in the regular speedrun, you can use the invulnerability from standing on top of that blue crystal switch to have enough momentum to make it into the portal. But with Ice Physics, that doesn't work, so that's why I get out the cape briefly. Alright, this room I want to be at the bottom so I can just go around those pits, hookshot up here, and then if I bonk dash at the right spot, then I can cross over that without going through the portals there. If I was low on arrows and I wanted to pick up some extra, that the portals that I just teleported over leads to a 5-arrow drop. But this pot is also a 5 arrows. We can bonk across here and be on our way. So plenty of health going into this fight.
You grabbed that guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up the other ones later. I guess I could have got that one with the net, though.
Now these guys, actual Armos on ice.
Yeah. Gosh, imagine having Ice Physics for this fight. And no, it does not count as double Ice Physics. right, I'll go back for red mail.
It's not that far.
Yeah. And I'll grab the fairy here, maybe? In case one of them, in case they fly away from me and in the restock room before Ganon's Tower.
This is my least favorite fairy room in the game because it's designed for you to fall.
Yeah, they wanted to hang out at the pit and not get into the net. Red mail. It's even better than the
Red
blue
mail.
mail, which we never had to begin with.
I like the red mail on the penguin. It's pretty cute.
We are definitely as Christmassy themed as possible.
This room is a little funky because the peg tiles behave with ice physics, but the spikes do not. So your dash gets like slowed down and sped up again. There's a cool strategy for this room too, but it's difficult to manipulate those red mimics because the red mimics move faster than you do since they're not affected by ice physics. Okay, so I have a little less magic than I would like. I'm gonna not use the cape in this room, even though I would normally. But I will use it in the next room. Using the cape is one way of getting around these spikes.
You only took one hit.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
This room having the cape helps dramatically.
Yeah, it's nice for that room.
Yeah, for anybody that is just joining us here, this is A Link to the Past. Any percent, no major glitches, but with ice physics. So all of the tiles in the game are frozen.
Yeah. And just like that, we got red mail, we got 2 fairies and a green potion, full hearts, and it's time for the Ganon's Tower Gauntlet. 5 consecutive rooms of defeat all the enemies to move on.
On ice.
On ice.
Which, funnily enough, is not that bad because a lot of the rooms in here either normally have ice or have conveyors, which are not icy.
Yeah, that's true. Like this room, you just kind of hang out to the conveyors. It does mess up the strategy for this room because you don't have quite enough momentum to make it to the conveyor in time. In the regular speedrun, in that third room, you would try to make it to the conveyor while the Zazek, the enemy, is already on it, letting you just like dash into it. But we don't have quite enough time to make it there. Oh my gosh, this room is impossible. There's ice in it.
True, this room sucks. Oh, can you get there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Silver arrows are 1-shot KO on the Landmolas. The sword is 2 if I do full slashes. Oh, I thought I had the shot there. Got him.
Good snipe.
Alright, don't need any of this junk. So for these rooms, I'm going to equip the Ether Medallion. That defeats the Wizrobes in a single hit. Well, I'm going to have too much momentum and get sent careening down the stairs. Let's try that again. Alright, so Ether Medallion. Defeat them in a single hit once they spawn. In NMG, you would actually position a Cane of Samaria block right in the middle of all the 3 of those Wizrobes to take him out in one hit there. But we don't have quite enough time to be able to make it under ice physics.
I absolutely started using Ether Medallion for these rooms, though.
It's a help for sure.
Yeah. Especially this one.
Yeah. This one as well, you have almost enough time to make it. So this room, I actually take the right escalator because the downward momentum doesn't affect me. And I'm able to sneak by there
Here it
before
is.
the
Here it
cows
is. This is the room.
know it hit them.
The room.
Yeah, coming up now are probably the two hardest rooms in the game. We're going to have to light all 4 torches and make it through the door before any of the torches go out. The problem is ice physics don't really interact nicely with pits, and they also don't interact very nicely with one-tile spaces. So I'm really trying to be delicate with my setup here. So I want to get that one out, get this one out, be here, have no momentum. With no momentum, I can just get hit by the fire stick. And now that's the cue to begin. So I got it off there, and I want to fall down the hole intentionally. That sets me up at the edge of the room. That's the last torch, so now I just got to make it to the door. Is this going to make it? Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
very nice. First try.
Barely enough
Huge
time.
claps in the chat. Massive claps in the chat for that one. Seriously, that room I deemed impossible, by the way.
Yeah. It's not
when I
done,
first
though.
did it.
It's not done. So
Yeah,
torches 2.
This is the room part 2.
Similar problem. Okay, that's not going to work. So I'm intentionally going up and down the stairs a bit in order to make Link's position consistent. So the first time you go up the stairs, you're not far enough up. Second time you go, you're up too far. Third time, this is Goldilocks, we're just right. So going to lower this one, hit that one, bonk here, hit, through the door.
Woo!
Second
Someone
try
get
is
Tommy
not bad.
Wiseau.
Nice.
Oh my god. The room. Those by far, I think those are the 2 hardest rooms in the game, right?
Yeah, those are 2 extremely difficult rooms. When I was first playing through this game and trying to figure out if it was still viable, I had to ascend up Ganon's Tower 3 times just attempting that room over and over to try to get it viable. And as far as I know, the way that I just did it is the only way that exists to do it. I've never succeeded with any other kind of setup. All right,
Bye,
Mulderm was
Mulderm.
being kind that time. Appreciate it. Okay. I don't want to have momentum going up this. We're almost at the Aghanim fight. I'm choosing to put my trust in that staircase. There we go. Okay, Aghanim fight, got plenty of health and safety, so I am going to use the cape here. A little bit of a flashing lights warning, unfortunately. The lightning effect gets a little messed up with the icy tile here. So sorry if you have...
Yeah.
Sorry if you're sensitive to the flashing.
Definitely put on some sunglasses, but just be weary here with the flashing lights.
Yeah, and I tried doing the reduce settings. The settings that reduce the flashing, but unfortunately it doesn't work for this screen. All right, that's Aga down. Okay. One last obstacle left, and that is the Ganon fight. The Ganon fight consists of 4 phases. During the first one, he throws a trident around at you. The second one, he spawns a circle of fire bats. Third one, he collapses the floor. Fourth one, you have to keep torches lit while firing silver arrows at him. So, in order to make this doable, to get through the first 2 phases, it's 6 slashes with the butter sword. or the gold sword, which I have. So that's 1, 2, 3. 4. This is going to be an extra cycle, and that's okay. 5, 6. So now we're in phase 2. I can be in this corner here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. While I'm in the circle surrounding him, then those fire bats aren't going to get me. But it's phases 3 and 4 that the danger begins. So he collapses the floor, and we have ice physics momentum. Preferably, we can get to him before he shoots a fire bat out, and also preferably we can get him not at the top of the screen there. I'm glad that I was able to get out of the way in time. If we get to Ganon before he shoots a fire bat out, he won't shoot the fire bat out, and that makes the phase a lot more bearable. All right, so
here we go.
Phase 4, I'm going to try to activate torch glitch. So if I am able to light the left torch before the right torch would go out, the left torch will never go out. It's a very tight window, and I was able to get it there.
You got it. Let's go.
So that's 1 hit. I think that I can go for him. Yep, okay. So this is 2. Just 2. All right, I'm going to let him do his thing at the top here. 3? Nope, not 3. Okay. Torch is going to go out. Uh-oh. Light the torch, please. Okay, he's going to go top. Going to use the hook shot to get around that. Oh, he's coming down. I didn't think he would come down here. 3? Nope, not 3. Oh, dear.
Nice
Used
save.
Cape there. Okay, I'll just deal. I might be able to get him here. 3, 4.
GG. Almost.
Hey, nice run.
And that is A Link to the Past. No major glitches, but with ice physics everywhere. And that's time.
Let's go! Huge hype in the chat. Huge hype in the chat for that one. Absolutely incredible. Danny, thank you so much for showcasing this. That was incredible, wasn't it? That was a lot of fun. Chat, can we get some love in the chat for Danny Music? That was absolutely awesome. Seriously, Danny, thank you so much for showcasing this. It was an awesome run, and we really appreciate you joining us here. Danny, can you let the audience know a little bit more about you, what you do, and where they can find you?
Yeah, so I am a musician, believe it or not. You've been listening to a soundtrack that was made by the Game Brass. In the video game music circles, that's mostly what I'm known for. So if you like the music, feel free to check us out. On Twitch, I do play a lot of A Link to the Past and a lot of A Link to the Past Randomizer. I also do stream music sometimes and play other games as I see fit to include them. So yeah, feel free to follow me at Danny Music on Twitch or on YouTube. And if you like what you just heard, then check out the Game Brass.
Definitely. Wolfie and Zap, thank you so much for doing some awesome commentary. Where can they find you?
They can find me at Wolfie83. They can also find Wolfie at Wolfie83.
And they can find you at Zappical with 2 underscores.
Amazing. And Zap?
Okay, fine. You can find me at, I guess, twitch.tv/DannyMusic, or actually, oh my gosh, yeah. I stream occasionally at my Twitch, Zappical __. I mostly do Link to the Past Rando and everything else, but yeah, thank you all for having me.
Amazing. Seriously, Danny, thank you so much for showcasing this awesome run and the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past on ice. I want to give a shout out to the creator of this this version of the game. That is J Artist. J Artist made this version of the game, and you helped fix all the, work with him on the bugs and everything. So huge claps in the chat for J Artist as well. Any other shout outs we want to give?
Shout outs to Jiggy. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been an absolute delight. Absolutely agree. Shout out to J Artist 1 for conceiving of this monstrosity, putting it together, and going back and forth with me as we tried to make it more and more viable. This has been a huge delight to get to learn, get to route and plan and create for. Really puts a lot of my Link to the Past knowledge to the test in a creative and interesting way. And it's been a delight to get to show this in front of everyone. And showing this in front of everyone is thanks to you, Jiggy. Thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you again, Danny. 2:42:40. Not bad for a marathon run. Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Pretty awesome. So once again, thanks, Danny. Everybody, please go follow Danny Music. You can find his title or find his name in the title. You can click on his name, click that big old follow button, as well as in the pinned message in the chat. That's gonna be it for my little Zelda on Ice segment here on GDQ Hotfix. Thank you very much for being here. My name has been Jiggy. It is going to change today. It will be changing to Jiggy. Okay, so I'm gonna change it to the same thing. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you very much. We will be right back, because right after the break, we will be jumping right into Express Lane. That's going to be coming at you right after the break. If you're fans of Awfully Silly, that will return in 2 weeks on February 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be it for me. Once again, please stick around. Express Lane coming at you right after the